Hey, hi everyone. How's everyone doing today?
We got the studio audience live.
Yeah, what? So yeah, as you can see, there's no van here, so it's Captain Lady Moon who's running the show today. Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
I
Just
got a
had you.
smart lock installed today. Yeah.
Did
We'll
you?
see how fast I
Smart
break it.
lock?
Yeah, a smart lock. You can actually unlock it with your phone, with Wi-Fi, or
Okay.
your fingerprint, or a combination, or a key. Yeah, it's got
Okay.
25 different ways of opening it. And watch, I'll lose all of them.
That's pretty cool. So how long do you think it will take until until they get hacked? Until it gets
Well, let's see. If I take actually, what I set it up as is where it's automatically doesn't lock by itself. When it's locked, it's actually transmitting a signal to connect to a Bluetooth. When it's not locked, it's not transmitting anything. So it's like, good luck
Wow.
hacking it. Or I could just cheat, take a battery out.
Hey, Thomas, how you doing?
Hey, we got Thomas in the house.
We got Thomas in the house. Are you excited for today's show? We're going to be talking about GERD or gastrointestinal reflux
Grr.
disease. But before we go into that, let's say hi to Robin, our awesome interpreter.
Oh, he's up there. He moved around on me.
He's moved around. He's on that side now. So, yeah, I hope you're doing okay, Thomas. It's always good to see you in the chat. So, anyways, let's how about we get right to our discussion today? Yes, Kyber Cave, exactly. I'm glad you're doing well, Robin. You're doing such a great job. All right. So, do you want to read our brain? You want to read our brain? No.
I will read
Do
your
you want
brain.
to read the what GERD is? The definition for GERD,
You got it.
John. Okay.
Gastroesophageal reflux disease, better known as GERD. If you join me on my pirate ship, we could say GERD a lot.
GERD.
Yes.
GERD.
Occurs when stomach acid repeatedly flows back into the tube connecting your mouth to your stomach, better known as, the esophagus. This backwash, acid reflux, can irritate the lining of your esophagus.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced acid reflux?
Yes.
Oh, it's
Yes.
awful. It
It's
is awful.
not, yeah, it's not something you
No
really,
fun.
yeah.
It is no fun. Yeah, when I was younger, I actually had it a
Oh,
lot.
oh gosh.
Yeah, until I got off weed. Actually, I had it. So it was
Sir.
something I'm quite familiar with. Oh, anything up? Dampy says anything is trackable, and Thomas is like, I'm very excited.
Very
Good.
excited.
I'm so glad you're excited because this is going to be a fun topic.
Better be.
So, yeah, I hope so.
Bring out
Anyways,
my
right?
dark saber if he's not.
Oh, that is a really cool looking saber, especially on screen. Oh, look at that. That
Yeah,
is so
I
cool.
got the profi. I got the profi level. It's crazy. And you
Is it
can
a flat?
program it. Huh?
Is it like looks like a blade, like an actual blade? It's
Yes.
not round.
No, it's actually modeled after the dark saber. I got this through the kybercave.com site, and I bought the
Ooh,
profi level, and it's got um,
it's really
all
cool.
these different light patterns that you can do. My idea, though, what I want to do is make it look like it's a
Mhm.
chainsaw, with little pieces going around it, and have it do the chainsaw sound from Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, I have a tournament at the end of the month on the 27th actually that I'll be fighting in. So
So you do saber battles and stuff?
I do. I actually have been well I do so everyone knows how I actually got started in Kyber Cave was that I was teaching uh, sword fighting, sword work. I don't know how to say it. It's like a martial art, but I just go, oh, it's sword fighting. But I was teaching my mentor, my teacher, actually, Henry, introduced me to Van, and then I was a teacher at the school for a while, the
Nice.
Kyber Cave School. And
Wow.
then, yeah, and then it ended about 2021. And so I didn't hear from Van until last year, and he asked me to come on the show. So that's kind of
That's
how that whole thing
cool.
happened. But I've been fighting. I've been doing like sword practice, sword work, whatever you want to call
I
it.
call it
I
sword
think
play.
that is sword play. I've been doing sword play. Like it's like a martial art for me.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not like just being choreographed fighting or
No,
just
no, 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 no. There, I mean,
flashy things or you know what I mean. It's
swords,
like
melee weapons, and stuff go back thousands of years, and
mhm,
all of these different art forms are really neat because you see that in the different styles that Jedi's use. And just because these things light up and stuff, people forget it's just simply sword play with the sword that lights up. It's the same
mhm,
sort of techniques, except when you're using a saber that's round, you don't really have to angle your wrist or anything when you're trying to make the blade that's cutting edge aim
right.
where you want it to go. I noticed that with the dark side, you can't just swing it whichever way. Whoops, and
No.
expect it to do damage. You got to actually swing it in the direction that the cutting edge is going. You
Yes.
got to play with the thing a little differently. Then I got to fix that little mount up there.
So I
Oh, I got
mean,
to chop my head off.
I've yeah, don't want to chop your head off. So I've played.
That's cool.
we're kind of getting off the topic discussion
No problem.
of GERD,
So do you use
but
different flat swords and stuff too?
yes, I actually
Okay.
have I even have a working blade
So
in my
like
house.
katanas and broadswords and stuff like that.
Ninja toe. Yeah, I have a ninja toe. I'll show you it
Oh, very
that I've
cool.
used to work with. I've actually cut with this thing. Whoop.
She fell off
Sorry.
her seat, folks.
I know, right?
The way
So
whoa, that's gorgeous.
I've
Let
actually
me get
cut
this
with
full
this.
screen. I want to wow. Do
Here,
you
let
have
me
like
take off.
do you have
Here.
videos of you doing any of this stuff like on YouTube that I could later
No,
watch and stuff?
I haven't really done anything like that. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna
Because what I
take
would
off
do is I would
my.
download them and put it to music and make one of my custom mixes for it. That is gorgeous. Wow.
So yeah, this is it's a die
That looks like a
coated.
leather wrapped handle too.
Yes.
That I mean, it looks like an authentic, like not that cheap synthetic crap.
No, it's not.
That
This
is
is an
beautiful.
actual real working blade. I've cut with it. I've actually sliced. I've sliced. I've sliced bottles with water in it, and I've sliced
Nice.
mats with this. Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I actually
It's
did
almost as
a.
sharp as your wit. Yep, graveyards here. Hey, gravy. We got graveyard in the house, folks.
Yes, we got graveyard in the house. So
That's
I've it.
awesome. I love that. That's
Um,
great.
so I've been doing it for about 20 years,
Oh,
and
I was learning fencing as a little kid. I mean, like 4 or 5
oh,
years old.
yeah, but you're so funny. It's bad. It's I don't know. I think it's probably sharper than my wit, but it cuts pretty easily. I also have a few knives and
That's so badass.
thank you. But I've been doing it for about 20 years. I started when I was 18,
Nice.
and yeah, it's actually a really funny story. I mean, I was interested in it way earlier, and I had friends who did live steel fighting as well, and I started to kind of learn from them, but it was frustrating. They were, I didn't really. So it was like probably about 14 or I was probably 13, 14 when I was getting into it, but hadn't really learned. I didn't really know anyone who. They kind of got frustrated trying to teach me. So,
Gotcha.
anyways, but I was really into it. So my first day in college, I went. I had Japanese class because I was taking Japanese,
Oh, love
and
Japanese.
I met my future best friend there.
Ah, that's
Uh,
cool.
for about 9 years, he was my best friend for 9 years. Anyways, we introduced ourselves. I was like, "Hey, in Japanese," and I said, we were supposed to introduce ourselves and like something that we like to do. And I said, "Fight wa daisuki desu," which is like I love to fight. He's like,
That's cool.
"Really?" I was like,
That's cool.
"Yeah." He goes, "Oh, you fight?" And so he's like, "Oh, do you want to have a duel after class?" Like right there, just in front. I was like, "Yes."
You're
He's
like
like,
you're like,
he goes,
"Konnichiwa."
he goes, "I've got swords in my car.
That's
You want to go
awesome.
have a fight after class in the
That's
parking lot?" So that's
awesome.
what happened. And then
That
he
is so
introduced, then
cool.
I went. So then I went, started going to classes, and it was all speed, like it was full speed, no protection
Damn!
whatsoever, except for maybe gloves. So, and I still to this day, I have a really hard time wearing a helmet. It actually messes with
I
me.
understand. I totally
Uh,
understand that.
so it. it's just really funny how that all went. So that's how, and I went and did my, but I never did tournaments or anything like that.
Gotcha.
I
This
need
was all just
to,
for yourself.
yeah, I did do a choreographed fight with David last year, and
Nice.
Metz is talking about us redoing it so it could be done in a really great professional way. Anyways, that's that thing. So let's actually get back to the
Let's talk about
GERD.
GERD. Yeah, yeah, GERD, yeah.
Talk about GERD. More than just me fighting about talking
Swordplay
about
can
my
lead to
fighting
GERD,
prowess.
folks. Swordplay
Yeah.
can lead to GERD if you get stabbed wrong.
So it's like actually, well, it can if you get it if you get cut in your stomach, that can lead to stomach problems,
Yes,
including GERD.
yes.
Anyways, so GERD, from what I have found, and my experience of it is true, is that oftentimes when people get GERD, it's not just having acid reflux during the day, it's also at night because it gets
Yes.
worse at night.
When you
So
lay
a lot
down.
of people, when you lay down, so what's happening is that uh, I want to call it the duodenum, might be wrong,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it's the thing that closes. So there's a part, there's like a
There's like a
little
flap,
flap.
like valve. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the valve, the duodenum valve, I think it's called. And what happens is it gets so relaxed that the acid will come back up, and it has a hard time closing or staying closed when you go to sleep at
Yes.
night. When you lay flat, that
Gravity's not
relaxes
holding
so
things
much that,
down. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So and usually it tightens. It's like a little sphincter inside your
Exactly.
stomach. It
Yes.
tightens,
Yeah, it's a
but
sphincter. It's one of the sphincters.
it's one of the sphincters,
Yes, gotta love
but it's
those.
different than the other. Yeah. So yeah. So what happens is if and also if you're a side sleeper, it depends on which side you sleep
Mm.
on too. Actually,
Yes. Oh my
if you
god,
sleep
yes.
on your right side, I believe it's easier for the duodenum to tighten rather than the left side. And since I sleep on the left side, it's always great.
Yes.
Anyway,
Sorry. Breathing and
so
drinking doesn't work.
yeah, no. So a lot of GERD sufferers will wake up with a sore throat, with burning, with bad breath, and a lot of
Feeling
times
like
they
there's
won't even
pain
be,
in your chest area.
yes, and they won't
All
even
that.
realize that it's because they're having acid reflux. Now, I did get the sleeping version. I would have all of the other symptoms, but they would go away before I could before I went to sleep because I couldn't sleep. If I was having those symptoms, I could not sleep at all
I
because it
totally
was
get
so
you.
bad
Yes.
that I
Now, one
couldn't
that you get
breathe.
to sleep easy, yeah. You have
Yeah,
to sit
so I would stay up late at night because it. I mean, I had to take Prilosec every day or Metzoprol. I ended up switching to Metzoprol for a while, and yeah, so it was giving me problems for almost 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, probably
wow.
longer than that. But it got worse. It got progressively worse.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I stopped eating wheat, and within 3 weeks, my acid reflux was completely gone.
Oh, so you figured out probably you have celiac,
I have
which
celiac, which is yes, they did. Yep, it
yeah,
was
I've known a
confirmed.
few people with that, and that stuff just I mean, allergies in general can screw you up in ways you don't even realize until one day,
Hmm.
hopefully figure it out.
Yeah, and I just didn't until I actually was a completely different reason why I went. I started going on it, and it was late 2012, 2013 is when I started to. I just wanted to try it as a diet thing because it can cause other things besides that. Not GERD, but celiac. It can cause
Yes,
lethargy. It can cause. And I
yes.
was also itching. I was getting hives at night. That
Oh,
was a
yes.
big thing. Is I would start getting the itches, and that was horrible because it would really interrupt my sleep as well. So, so I was like, oh, going on a gluten-free diet may be great. So I did that, and yeah, within 3 weeks it was completely gone.
Wow.
And so I don't have to take any acid reflux medication anymore.
That's excellent. That's
Just
excellent.
the more you know. So yeah. Anyways, let's watch one of our first clips
All right.
about it and see what you think. So this is one that is going to explain a little bit more about GERD.
GERD.
Gastroesophageal reflux disease, also known as GERD or acid reflux, is a chronic condition in which stomach contents rise and enter the esophagus. This occurs due to problems with closure of the lower esophageal sphincter, or LES, which is the junction between the stomach and esophagus. The most common symptoms are a burning sensation in the chest called heartburn, regurgitation, and an acidic taste in the back of the mouth. Heartburn typically occurs after eating and may worsen at night. Less commonly, people may experience dysphagia, or difficulty swallowing. Dysphagia can manifest as pain when swallowing, a sore throat, choking, coughing, gurgling or regurgitating food or stomach acids, feeling that food is stuck behind your breastbone, a burning sensation behind your breastbone, and hoarseness. There may also be nausea, frequent burping, chest pain, the sensation of a lump in your throat, wearing away of teeth, and bad breath. GERD can cause a recurrent cough, breathing difficulties, chest congestion, and lung inflammation leading to asthma, bronchitis, and pneumonia. Complications that can occur from it include esophagitis, or inflammation of the esophagus, esophageal stricture, in which scar tissue develops and narrows the esophagus, and Barrett's esophagus, in which the lining of the esophagus comes to resemble tissue that lines the intestines, which can lead to cancer. Risk factors for GERD include obesity, pregnancy, smoking, and certain medications. Hence, treatments include lifestyle changes such as losing weight and quitting smoking. Other lifestyle changes include eating several small meals a day instead of 3 big ones, avoiding food resulting in symptoms, not lying down for 2 to 3 hours after eating, raising the head of the bed, and avoiding stress. Foods that can exacerbate GERD symptoms include spicy, fatty, or fried foods, garlic, onions, citrus fruits, tomatoes, caffeine, fizzy drinks, chocolate, and dairy products. There are also medications that can be used to treat GERD symptoms. These include proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs, and histamine 2, or H2, receptor blockers, both of which reduce stomach acid production. There are also prokinetics, which cause the stomach to empty more quickly, antacids, which neutralize acid in the stomach, and medications that strengthen the LES. Some people still have symptoms interfering with their quality of life, despite lifestyle changes and taking medication. Still others wish to avoid taking medication long-term. In such cases, surgeries can be performed to reinforce and strengthen the LES. The most common of these is Nissen fundoplication. During a total fundoplication, the fundus is wrapped 360 degrees around the bottom of the esophagus. In a partial fundoplication, it is only wrapped partway around. Some people with GERD may have a hiatal hernia, which is when part of the stomach slips through the diaphragm into the middle compartment of the chest. If a hiatal hernia is present, that is also fixed during the surgery. Asthma and GERD frequently occur together. The reason is not certain, but it is believed that acid flowing from the stomach injures the throat lining, airways, and lungs. Another potential cause could be that when acid enters the esophagus, a nerve reflex kicks in and constricts airways to keep acid out. This can result in shortness of breath.
So what did you think about that clip?
The fundus doesn't sound fun.
No, it is not. It's not.
Wow, I had no idea that they could do something like that. Wow. I know a little bit about some of that other stuff because I've known people with GERD and that sort of stuff, and whew, definitely glad I didn't have it that bad.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad for a while. It was, yeah, I felt like I was having GERD. And funny enough, when in 2015, I was going through vocal loss and all that, because it can cause vocal loss. But I didn't know what was happening. I would wake up with throat pain, and it was, and I would notice that my voice wasn't working nearly as well. So I went to the doctors, and they're like, "Well, I think you have GERD." And I said, "It doesn't really feel like GERD," because I had GERD before, or rather, I had acid reflux before.
Mhm.
And I need to correct myself, by the way. It was not the duodenum. I think the duodenum is on the other side of the stomach. That
Okay.
it goes from the end of the stomach to the, because they said it was LES. So I wanted
Yeah.
to correct myself here. Um,
All
so
I know is it's one of the sphincters.
yeah, I know it's one of the sphincters. I think it's just on the bottom one, not the top one. The
Yeah.
top one, they said it's LES. Not sure what it's called, but so they prescribed me all the beta blocker, and they told me to switch out. I didn't drink coffee for 2 years,
Okay.
so I had to I switched to chicory root, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, chicory root is delicious. It's
Yeah, it
great.
is. It's not bad at all.
I like the taste of it. I actually was craving it, and I bought some recently. But
Nice.
I mean, caffeine doesn't really affect me one way or the other. It actually will make
Hmm.
me sleepy. So I mostly just drink it for the taste.
Okay.
I like the way it tastes. I'm weird. Oh. And I had to avoid spicy foods, and nothing worked. It wasn't
Oh,
working, and actually, the medication they prescribed to me made everything worse.
oh,
So, so then I went and finally got a second opinion in 2018 when I moved out here where I'm at now,
okay,
and they said, "Oh, I think you have allergies."
okay.
They
And
just
then once they
started
figured that
prescribing
out,
me allergies, and that, yeah, that changed my life.
good. Finally.
Yeah,
It's
finally.
so frustrating on how long it could take to diagnose something.
Yeah.
It
So
really
that's why
is.
it's important to be, educated on these
Yeah,
things.
yeah, because we go through life. I went through 12 years of being misdiagnosed for my
Mhm.
disability, and other people have told me stories about like yourself going misdiagnosed here. Oh, it's GERD, it's this, it's that, and turns out it's allergies. And then once they get on the right track, then you can finally start to actually fix things
Yeah.
if it's
So I,
fixable.
I take an allergy medication daily, a 24-hour, and that actually really helps a lot.
Excellent.
But I also think I was actually um, having issues in that was giving me GERD-like symptoms. So another thing, so I ended up doing a lot of research because I'm like, I know it's not GERD, but it feels like something else, not just allergies. So I was researching it. I was looking at different things, and I found something called H. pylori bacterium. Now it gives you a lot of symptoms like acid reflux and GERD. It's a
Oh,
bacteria. Yeah, they discovered it, this organism, in 1985, actually, the year I was
oh
born.
wow.
And it what it does is it eats the lining of the stomach and the acid, so it causes the GERD-like symptoms. And another thing is that those beta blockers, so the acid coming up, so the reason why you have that sphincter muscle, the LES sphincter muscle, I called it the duodenum, it's the wrong one. It's the LES sphincter muscle. That's tied to your esophagus. The reason why it does that is because the acid is going up to tell it to close up. But if you have so much beta blockers, if you're not producing enough acid, that will also cause it to relax enough for all of the stomach bile to come back up too.
Yes.
So what the beta blockers were also doing, because it would cause my acid reflux to get worse,
Oh
or
wow.
it actually would cause it to be worse. So what would be
Yeah.
happening is that there would be less acid so I didn't have a lot of acid in the stomach, so because of the H. pylori, I think, I'm not really sure, I never got officially diagnosed with H. pylori. But it would it would give those it would since I was taking the blockers, the inhibitors, it would cause it to the symptoms would get far worse than
Wow.
they would have been getting better. Yeah.
And
It
it's
was
good you paid attention to that.
Yeah, there was one night where it was so bad I could not sleep. I was up all night basically in a sitting position, and it was coming up, and my whole back of my throat
Just burning.
and back of my tongue actually was like burned. Like it had
Acid
like
on
the
it.
sores, like acid
Yeah.
sores. It
Yeah.
was really bad. And I was like, I can't take this thing anymore. And so, yeah, what happens is the H. pylori, if you have H. pylori, you take those acid blockers, they, it's,
It
it,
encourages it
it,
then.
it encourages, yeah, it actually causes them it gets worse. It'll cause
Gotcha.
things to get worse. So I started looking at how do you get rid of H. pylori, because I was like, this might be actually what's happening to me, because I had all the symptoms of that too. So I started taking things to, holistic things.
Yes.
I brought it up to the doctor. They were like, no, I don't think that's what's going on. So I started taking things anyways to help it, and that actually did help a lot, but it didn't
That's
make the
awesome.
symptoms go away. It was just by 2018, I didn't have any upper range. I didn't have anything, because the whatever was going on was caused, my voice to completely die. And
Wow.
so yeah, so anyways, back to this. Like this is something that a lot of singers actually, um, for some reason, it's very common among singers to get GERD.
Probably because the way they use their diaphragm and stuff, and that it
Could
pushes
be.
things around a little bit in there.
So, John,
Yeah.
what are your experiences with GERD?
With mine, since being in a wheelchair, it's really difficult for me. Well, especially now with my down stems being where they are, I can't get the exercise I need to keep the weight off. So I gained probably about 30 additional pounds or so than what I need, and I started to notice that, shoot, sometimes I'm getting stuff in the back of my throat, like you mentioned, and like you mentioned, it's very intensely burning, and uh, it's it's not something that's easy to really describe to somebody that's never experienced it. It's like having a sunburn
Hmm.
inside your freaking throat. That's the best way I can think of it. It's like, holy cow, what the hell is going on here? And I'm like, let me drink some milk, or let me drink, let me try this, or none of that worked. Saw my doctor. I was on the over the counter acid blocker things. Those little, they're like little.
Prilosec or
That's the one,
Metoprolol or
Prilosec. That's the one I cannot think of.
Prilosec, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it sort of seemed to work. And then last spring and summer, I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to go out and just tow my little bike trailer that I converted. I got it for a steal at Goodwill, and I converted it to tow behind my wheelchair. Put my Bluetooth speaker in there, and
Hmm.
just wheeled around. Lost 30 pounds, uh,
Wow.
going up to 16 miles a day. Well, 12 miles on average. 16 was my best, and just rolling around. Lost 30 pounds, and that went away. I had that for about, I would say, a year. That it was
Hmm.
around. And, oh, forget laying down and trying to be comfortable. It was like, nope, as soon as I start to lay down, it just feel like my chest just caught on fire. I'm like, oh, it's not a heart attack,
Yep.
because it only happens when I lay down. And then I'm like looking up the symptoms, like, oh, great, I got acid reflux, terrific. So I
Hmm.
started looking into something chocolate. I love chocolate. It's like, gosh darn it,
Oh yeah, chocolate can be a definite trigger.
dang nabbit, I had some before I came out here. um, so I didn't know that. Spicy foods, I love spicy foods. So like, darn
I'm
it.
a big eater of spicy foods. Like
Um,
that's a big thing for me.
so I'm like, darn it. But those help with my pain. They help kind of, they do something positive to my whole overall. I don't touch caffeine. I don't touch alcohol. Don't do recreational drugs. I have never done any of those. The only time I tried something on the side was trying to smoke a Winston cigarette once. It's 14. Went behind the high school, lit it up. It was what my dad smoked. Took a drag, coughed, threw it out, threw down the whole package, stomped on them, said, "Forget this." For 3 months, my lungs felt like they were on fire. Like,
Oh man.
people are like, "You're not supposed to inhale." I'm like, "Well, now you tell me." I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna. No, no, no." And if I ever try any,
And yeah.
any, pot related stuff, if they make it legal here, I'm going to try edibles. I'm like, no, I'm not going to smoke it.
Yeah, I don't usually smoke when I have to take something for migraines because I get migraines regularly,
Oh,
pretty regularly. So I do take medical marijuana. I have an
I know a lot
emergency
about
stash
migraines.
for smoking, but hate I hate it. So
Mm.
I usually take edibles, but if I'm in a pinch, I'll
How
smoke
do
it. But
I
it's
got to
legal
ask you?
here.
How do the edibles compare to the smoking? Since is it, do you get the same sort of relief or help, or is it better?
Um, it's
I'm
just
just
different.
curious.
Well, I would say that I don't have to deal with the throat pain or the constant worry that I'm destroying my my lungs
Believe it or
or
not,
my
smoking
voice
pot
box,
itself, if
vocal
it's the
folds.
medicinal type that we're talking about, that's far
Hmm.
safer than smoking commercial cigarettes because they put chemicals
Of
in there.
course,
Chemicals.
of course.
You can do cigars, you could do pipe tobacco, and people won't get cancer from that stuff. And you might be going, but it's still smoke. But that's because there's no chemicals. They don't put rat poison. They don't put all this other stuff in there.
Right. They don't put
People are addicted to
formaldehyde,
it.
for instance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
formaldehyde
stuff
being
like
a
that.
big one. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
formaldehyde is also what they use to process cocaine. I know we're going
it's
off on
used
a
in a
tangent,
lot of
but
stuff.
it's used in a lot of things
Oh yeah.
that they which is you go and look at the things that they've used on, you're like, what? Why?
Yeah. It's like, holy
So
crap.
yeah, you're like, why did they use it for they've used it in food grade products even.
Yes. Yes.
Like maraschino cherries have formaldehyde in them. Fun fact, makes you never want to
Exactly.
eat maraschino cherries.
Or I'm just going to jump into a jar and preserve myself. There we go.
Yeah, might as well just head in. So,
Yeah. My
yes,
experience with GERD was much shorter than yours, but still very painful.
it is painful.
And I'm glad to hear though that you figured out what was going on so that you're no longer having to deal with that because
Yeah, now I don't. If I take my medication, my allergy medication, I don't wake up with pain, and my voice has almost completely come back. But yeah, I was a first soprano, so it was devastating.
okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting because so what happened, what I actually found out was happening was that I would get a lot of congestion in the back of the throat, and it would drip back into into the esophagus and the vocal folds, which would cause them to, of course, swell because it's like a burning thing. So it would cause them to swell, and then it would have the same effect as GERD.
And of course, change your entire texture of your voice and singing and
Hmm.
all of it. So, yeah.
Yep. I mean, but the silver lining is now I've got a much deeper range,
Okay.
lower. Like I've got
Okay.
more range lower because I've had to do everything in chest voice.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of cool. It's more developed
It
than
is
it
cool.
used to be. I used to have an extremely developed head voice and nothing down in the chest voice, and now I've
Okay.
got a much more developed chest voice. So
Okay.
it's pretty. It's but it's a muscle like anything else, so you have to
Yes.
work at it. Anyway, so let's look at since we were talking about the treatments, let's look at the treatments
You got it.
for what they talk about that. So it's going to be about 2
Lightsabers.
minutes.
Those treat everything.
Yeah, fighting always treats everything.
To treat GERD, we recommend the following. Raise the head of your bed by 6 inches to allow gravity to help keep the stomach's contents in the stomach. Do not use piles of pillows because this puts your body into a bent position that actually aggravates the condition by increasing pressure on the abdomen. Eat meals at least 3 to 4 hours before lying down, and avoid bedtime snacks. Eat smaller meals with modest portions of food. Maintain a healthy weight to eliminate the unnecessary intra-abdominal pressure that is caused by extra pounds. Limit your intake of fatty foods, chocolate, peppermint, coffee, tea, colas, and alcohol. These all relax the lower esophageal sphincter. Avoid tomatoes and citrus fruits or juices, which contribute additional acid that can irritate the esophagus. If you smoke, try to quit. Smoking also relaxes the lower esophageal sphincter. Wear loose belts and clothing. If your symptoms don't respond to treatment, or if they occur often, you will need to see a doctor for testing and treatment. One test is an endoscopy, which is a visual examination of the esophagus. Sometimes this test shows that the lining of the esophagus is severely inflamed and irritated by stomach acid. This condition, known as esophagitis, might lead to bleeding and difficulty in swallowing and may need medical treatment. This usually involves blocking acid production in the stomach. Over-the-counter medicines such as Tums, Rolaids, Maalox, Zantac, Tagamet, Prilosec, Pepcid, and Axid can generally relieve GERD symptoms. If your symptoms are more severe, or if you have been using antacids for more than 2 weeks, contact your doctor. Your doctor can prescribe medicines to control or eliminate acid, such as H2 receptor antagonists and proton pump inhibitors. Only a few people need surgery to correct the disorder.
Yep.
Wow.
It's really interesting. They don't really. It's funny because they don't really talk about you know losing the weight or not eating the acidic food as much acidic foods in that clip, which is interesting. And but I thought it was interesting that they were talking about don't pile up your pillows to lay down. So the thing that I actually had to get, which is what I actually use as my sit up thing, is this guy here. This is actually something that is used for
A
people
wedge.
who. Yep, it's a wedge pillow.
Yep.
It's
Those,
actually
those
pretty
work way
awesome.
better. Yeah, those work way better than trying to pile pillows up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So what I would
absolutely.
do is I
So
would pile
cool.
my pillows underneath the mattress and let it bend up
Oh,
that way,
oh,
and it
that's
kind of worked
cool.
as a wedge.
Yeah, that's
I just
pretty
had no
smart
pillows.
actually. You're like, no, I'm not sleeping on pillows. The only problem is sleeping on these things can be it can be a pain.
Yeah.
I love using them to prop myself up on. I've got 2 of them, so that really helps
Nice.
me. Yeah, they weren't cheap though. I think they were like $75 to
Yeah,
$100.
they're not cheap.
Pretty expensive. They're not cheap. So yeah, so it was really interesting because they didn't help, and I even told the doctor this, the ENT this. I was like, nothing is helping. So I ended up seeing a gastroenterologist,
Oh wow.
and I actually got a what's that called? An endoscopy. Got an endoscopy done.
Okay. I've had
And they
I've had the
prescribed.
other from the other end. So
Oh man, yeah, I haven't had one of those yet. I'm sure I'm gonna have to soon.
the worst part was drinking the liquid, the gallon liquid.
Oh, yep.
That was the
That's
worst
what I've
part.
heard.
Yeah, the rest of it was nothing.
uh, yeah, so they put you under for that, which is fun.
Yes.
And they actually put a tube. The doctor put a tube down my esophagus as well through my nose, and he had me on that. I think it was a few days, might have been
Okay.
a week or a few days, and just to monitor, you know, the if monitor if acid reflux was happening. And after all that, he said, "Well, I don't know what's going on with you, but it doesn't seem like you actually have GERD. So I'm not going to prescribe this medication because it just seems like it's actually making it worse." And so that was fun.
Yeah, lots of fun. I'm gonna get the e-ticket.
Yeah. I'm like, this is some fun times.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
No, it's really hard to sleep with that thing in there. It feels like you constantly have to swallow. It's like having a
Oh, I when I
trachea,
was
you
watching the
know, the
animation, I'm like,
trachea.
how do you not feel like you have to swallow this thing all the time? Like spaghetti going down. You feel the length of it going down sometimes. It's like, I gotta pull it out. Nope, nope, nope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I know this seems so much fun, guys. Us talking about all these
Sorry.
lovely things that have to
Like,
happen.
this
I'm
stuff
sure you
doesn't
just
gross me
go
out,
ahead
so
and I'm not grossed out by a lot of things
so
either.
blood doesn't bother me, throw up doesn't bother me,
I know. I bet you thought there was a much funner conversation in the beginning of the episode when we're talking
Sorry
about
about that,
fighting,
guys.
though.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Let's get back to talking about dark sabers. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
They have
uh,
to watch this and go, "Whoa, what happens when I leave? What?"
when the dad's away, the kids will play.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the GERD. So yeah, it's a really interesting I don't know, disease to have, and it's a shame that they don't talk about like maybe there's like I don't know, other alternative things to do besides just taking the GERD medication.
Yes.
I think I was kind of disappointed about my ENT misdiagnosing me. Honestly,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
it was like I was right in the middle of writing an album, like recording an album
Oh,
with this happening. Oh, it was very frustrating,
oh,
but it's fine. I got it done.
cool.
So yeah, and it was interesting learning about how common this is. This is super common
It
of
is. It
a
really is.
of, mhm. So let's see. I've got a couple of things here we could discuss. Yeah, it's really interesting. You don't really talk about, or we didn't really talk about how it can really wear down your
The
teeth.
enamel on your teeth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I was working for Eastman Dental and the dental center at the hospital I worked at, we saw lots of people with these sorts of problems. And there lots of people like to chew tobacco. That can also
Mm-hmm.
cause problems too. Like they said, smoking and that sort of stuff can cause things to relax. And oh yeah, lots of people coming in with damaged um, enamel on their teeth because of GERD and acid reflux and stuff because of that stuff. And oh yeah, very common, like you said.
Yeah, it really is. The one of the things that one of the things that was that it says here on things that you can do is like, it says eat smaller servings, avoid food and beverage triggers, and chew your food thoroughly. That's something that they didn't really talk about, which is
Yes,
really
yes,
interesting. Like you said, stop smoking because cigarette smoked. I never smoked, so that was not a problem for me. And wearing loose clothes, believe it or not,
yeah,
will actually help lower it, which is
yeah.
an
Because you're not
interesting.
constricting your waist and stuff with a tight belt or a waistline, putting more pressure on
Right.
the internal area.
So this is how they say severe GERD diagnosis. So if you're severe, like they were talking about, you want to go to your doctor and get treatment. So an endoscopy is something that they do look at. Upper GI series, which is like one of the first test your doctor does. It's a special X-ray that shows your esophagus, stomach, and upper part of your small intestines. The duodenum. Okay, so the duodenum is part of the small intestine, which,
Okay.
so it's on the other side.
You
So
just had it flip flopped. No
yeah,
problem.
I had it flip flopped. It gives limited, it does give him limited information about the possible reflux, but can rule out other conditions such as peptic ulcers, which is very interesting. I think they did. I don't know if they actually, if I don't remember if they did one on me or not, the special X-ray for it. The test checks for low, so esophageal manometry and impedance study. This is test checks for low pressure in your esophagus, and it can show defects in your esophageal muscles and how your esophageal muscles contract.
No,
And then
okay.
they do PS testing, which will also measure your acid levels, which is really interesting as well. And then there's surgery that you can do. As I said, in very rare cases, some people need surgery, and they were showing some of that in the video.
Yes.
But the complications, now that's really interesting, is they have
Yeah.
esophageal ulcers, which are stomach acid eats away at your esophagus until an open sore forms. These sores are often painful and may bleed. Have you known anybody who has had an esophageal ulcer?
Um, no, have not known anybody personally that's had that. I know that swelling, that's as bad as the one person I
Hmm.
knew that had it. The swelling was pretty bad in their throat, and they had to be put on anti-inflammatory stuff uh,
Hmm.
for that. And they too ended up having allergies. It turned out they were allergic to eggs, and kidney beans, and that sort of stuff. Things that are
Yeah,
pretty much in every ingredient or every recipe that's pretty much made in the Western world.
mine was air.
Air, yeah, just I'm sure it
Yeah,
must
air.
be air and sunlight.
It was air. It was more or less. Um, it was particles in the air. So, and also cold air. It's very so in California. It's actually very dry. So
Yes,
it's
it is. I
dry,
used to live in
cold
California.
air.
I'm born.
Yeah.
I'm born in San Francisco.
Okay, so you know all about this, how
Oh
cold
yeah.
and dry it
Oh,
can
I
be.
do.
So, and of course there are particles, smog particles. I
Pollutants and
mean,
stuff.
I would say
Smog,
California in many
ozone.
ways is one of the more cleaner states. But there's quite a few big cities here, and so there's quite a few big. We do have refineries here, so it does put a lot of particles in the air, and over time, everybody gets allergies in California.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, that was something that they're like, oh yeah, allergies. So that can give you a lot of symptoms of the same as GERD.
Yes.
Funny enough. So except without all the damage to your esophageal lining.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody in our audience that's tuned in has.
Yeah, anyone in the audience, have you had any symptoms
What's
of
your
GERD?
experience, if any, GERD
Yeah,
or
please
anything similar?
share with us your symptoms and
Because
your
we're rambling
experience.
on here, and it's got to be. We want this to be a conversation with you guys too.
What Joan said.
Oh,
So please comment in our comments below if you've had any experience or even
not
misdiagnosis
the
from
bomb!
doctors. The way?
The bomb! The bomb just dropped. I meant
The
this
bomb
one.
just broke.
Drum roll. We just had a volume control.
Wasn't
Loud.
that loud? It was fine. Unless you're like, whoa, what was that?
No, 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 no. I didn't mean to press the bomb button. I'm sorry. It's a good thing I'm not carrying the football here. The presidential football.
The
Nope, it just
presidential
started nuclear
football.
war.
Yeah, no, we don't want
We don't want
the
that.
red.
We don't
We're
want
not
that.
talking about the red button.
No, not
Mm-mm.
that button. Oh, I got the red button around here. Oh no, it's in one of my boxes that I packed away. It's the no button.
Don't hurt
Oh,
yourself in your own confusion of things. Don't be a Pokemon or a koala.
there we go.
Koalas are, yeah. Just remember, kids, don't be a koala. Koalas are interesting animals. Anyways,
Are.
so yeah, so we do have one more fun clip for you all. It's this one is just fun. This is about media and how media has in some ways portrayed GERD. But this is a fun media representation. So I'm gonna show that to you guys. Just give me one moment.
It's going to be from that singing show where she throws up like endlessly. Oh,
Oh, you're talking about Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect. Yes.
Funny
Love that
enough,
movie.
before we roll this clip.
Love that
Funny
movie.
enough. Yeah, funny. I just saw it for the first time,
Did you?
literally 2 days ago.
Oh God, that movie is just priceless.
It's really funny. And I love how they make all of the singing and stuff
Spontaneous.
spontaneous.
Yeah.
I can't talk today. What's wrong with me? And you can get to that point, but that's if you've had years and years and years of practice. But a lot of times it is not that quick to get everything that in sync with each
Oh, of
other.
course not. I mean, it's Hollywood though. They Hollywood it up
Yeah,
and make
of
it look
course.
like it's that way. It's like Karate
Well,
Kid.
there's so many misconceptions about musicians because of that, though.
Oh yes.
I mean, one thing they did do that was really well is they showed them having like daily practices of 2 to 3 hours, though, which is
Yes, that's very real. Oh yeah.
that is very accurate, which I will say good on them. But did we ever have sing-offs? No.
Let's go to
No.
this place and meet and do a sing off. Let's go into the bottom of a pool and sing off.
I mean, I'll still do it. But I'm just saying, when I went to school for music, that never happened.
No, when my girlfriend's oldest daughter went to school for music, nope, didn't see that with violins or nothing. It's like, nope, not seeing it that way.
Mm-mm.
They had their recitals, but that was it.
Yes, the misconception though is that when you do music stuff, you just basically slack off and smoke pot and play.
Yeah, and it's like you're drunk.
Kumbaya.
Yeah, it's like, dude.
We had no social life. Out of everybody, I mean, the arts, generally you don't have a social life, but music people, no social life.
Yes.
None. You are in the practice rooms like 6 hours a day. You
Yes.
do not have a
Those four walls are your friends.
Pretty much. That's all you just basically do that.
Yep.
You don't most people in college will go home, do their homework, and then they're done. No, not music students. Music students are practicing.
They're up until 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, and then coming back, laying down, and 6 o'clock in the morning, getting up for their first class at 7 or 8 or whatever it starts.
Oh yeah, and
like
you like sometimes 11 classes, like I did one semester.
Party animal.
No, it's
the opposite.
yeah, no. I didn't. Like when I was at work, I was still doing practicing because you have to do clapping exercises. It's not fun. Anyway, let's do this fun clip for y'all. I hope you guys are having a good time here with us.
Reflux. Reflux is
Reflux basically has an acid reflux problem of super proportions. He'll just spew molten lava against his opponents, projectile style.
We ended up calling him Reflux, but there was a large contingency, including myself, who wanted to call him GERD.
Gastroesophageal reflux disease.
Perfect.
I would lose this. There's right from here on, there's a sense of, we ran one way, we're blocked, we're running another way.
I think from where reflux spews the fire, move that all the way up to after they come down into the main room.
It's a really great start. It's going to be great. Yeah.
When Brad told me that he was going to regurgitate lava, so I was like, I don't know, I don't want to see that.
Feel free to go even a little larger and have it be like a full sack. So
The mouth is essentially a frog.
chicken waddle thing, or and it's all
Okay.
and then
It became less gross because it looked like it could actually happen with this guy's big mouth, and it gave him, again, more character.
A reflux is the only super to have his logo on his belly.
I love the idea of a guy in the senior years just now, ready to show his stuff.
Name is Reflux. Medical condition or superpower? You decide.
Goodness, that was so freaking cute.
Isn't that adorable? I don't know what Incredibles movie that's for. Is that? I don't think that's for the second one, is it?
I don't think so, but I don't know. But that was just perfect.
I mean, because I remember 1 and 2, and I just don't remember. It's for the second one?
Oh, it is a simple
Okay.
one. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Oh my God, that was just perfect. And here I got talking about the pitch perfect thing there. And I didn't watch any of the clips beforehand.
No,
Oh
I
my
didn't.
God.
I actually just watched them like right
3 minutes
before
ago?
the show, a few minutes ago before the show. Yeah, just a few minutes ago. No, I watched them to see which order we should put them in, and it's part of
Gotcha.
getting ready for the show. And but yeah,
Oh, that
it's
was
really
perfect.
funny, and we should have. I mean, if I wasn't thinking about it, but maybe it would have been good to have that. Yeah, because stress can definitely cause the acid reflux.
Oh yeah.
And that was really sad in Pitch Perfect, actually. I was really embarrassed for
It
her.
was.
I know it
Yes.
was played as for laughs, but
But
it
it was because
actually
of
is
her
very
stress and her
sad.
anxiety and stuff that caused that, and I felt bad for her too. It was just a cute scene there. It was funny, but at the same time, it's kinda like, "Oh, man, to have something that severe happen because of your anxiety and stress. Jeez." But
Yeah, I mean, I know of certain performers, actually, funny enough, including Elvis, the King of Rock and Roll, would throw up before every performance because of the anxiety.
yep, stage fright is what a lot of people associate that with. Stage
Mm-hmm.
fright. Or you get in front of an audience and you freeze.
Freeze! You can't see me. But yeah,
I
I
remember
felt
that as a kid.
super
"Can't see me
bad.
if I don't move."
Yeah. Felt so bad for her though. I was like, this
Yeah.
is not funny. And of course it is played because it's Hollywood, and so of course, it's just played for one of those laugh things. But I liked it. I liked the movie. I thought it was
So
a
did
good
I.
movie
I've
overall.
seen it several times now and still love it.
I mean, there's so many tropes in there that
Oh, there is. I
have
mean,
been
they nail
used so
so
many.
many things. It's hilarious.
It
Uh,
is. But it is a great example about how one of the ways that GERD can present itself. It's just done in a very extreme, made to
over
laugh
the
sort of
top
way,
way, yeah.
over top way.
Yeah. And and that's I guess that's one of the good things and one of the bad things about Hollywood is that
Mhm.
sometimes they get things right, sometimes they go way over the top and yeah, okay.
I guess it just depends on if it's a comedy or if it's
Yeah.
a serious role, because it's interesting because you can I think some people can associate, you know, GERD or acid reflux often even with like ED, trigger warning, ED, with eating disorders too,
Yeah.
like bulimia, because and
Oh,
it could be
yeah.
that could be a cause of it too.
Yes.
The acid reflux, like you can get acid reflux from causing yourself to vomit so much, because that also can lead to
I knew
that
somebody that had bulimia.
relaxing of it.
Yeah.
So did I.
That that
So do
actually
I.
was the same person that had the inflammation in there. That was the same word. So, and
Hmm.
when you mentioned before that doctors said, "Oh, you must have a eating." What was it last week that we talked about where the person was on the talking about eating disability and that sort of stuff? And it's like it's not always an eating disability for all of these things. It could look like it from the outside until you actually look
Hmm.
at the details. And she wasn't actually making herself throw up. She was allergic to stuff that was causing her to throw up. And it unfortunately made it look like she was doing this to herself. And when they found out that she was allergic to eggs, kidney beans, and that kind of stuff, they took her off of that. And like you said, with you, just within a month or two, everything subsided and
3 weeks.
started to heal. And she started to actually take on a little bit of weight and all that. And it was like, oh, and yeah. And did she ever get an apology from the assholes that, sorry for the swear, but from the jerks that decided, oh, I'm going to judge you and prejudge you based on what I see your book cover look like? No,
No.
doesn't happen. And it's like, that's so unfortunate. You know, when you see somebody who's really thin, like before I was disabled, I was really basically just, I couldn't gain weight to save my life because I was like
Did
super
you have
hyper.
a hole in your leg?
Huh? A
Did you
hole?
have a hole in your leg?
Two of them.
Yeah, I thought so. I know
Yeah.
people like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I could literally go down to, um, oh, what is it? A couple of the Mexican restaurants that we'd go to, or I could eat their El Presidente thing and then eat more than half of my girlfriend's meal and then have ice cream, go to the movies and have some big, huge popcorn and some sodas and still not gain an ounce and stuff. And I would
Oh,
just nightly. But of course, I was super hyperactive. I'd be bicycling everywhere. I'd be out roller skating everywhere. I'd be doing stuff all the time. So I was burning off calories. Once I was disabled, well, that kind of eating, now I have to eat much less.
Did you have hyperglycemia or anything
No,
like that too?
no,
Okay.
nothing like that. But yeah,
Okay.
so um,
You just had a really active metabolism and you were
very,
really also very active.
yeah, yeah. So I was
You just
constantly.
basically go somewhere and like Goku it up. You'd be like, give me all this stuff. And you just like eating plates and plates and
Oh,
plates of
people be
things.
like, "How the heck do you do that?" Like, I don't know, I'm just hungry.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's like,
But
I'm just hungry.
yeah, I'm just hungry, man.
You know, but I've known people that are very thin, and no matter what they do, they can't gain weight. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
it a lot of people go, "Oh, I would kill to be as thin as you." It's like, no, you wouldn't. If you were as thin as this, you go into a clothing store, you find it nothing fits. It's like you have to go into
Mm-hmm.
the junior sections or the junior miss sections, and you got to find things that might fit, and then you got to nothing in the style you want. They all look
Right.
stupid.
I have a really good friend I knew from middle school and high school, and she had that problem. She would
Oh,
eat and eat and eat. She would be hungry all the time, and she would eat and eat, and she never gained weight. And she was like 5'8" or 5'9" in high school even. And like people were like, are you anorexic? Are you bulimic? What is going on? Like they thought it was completely unhealthy, and she was just in that top 5 percentile of the body weight
yeah.
where she just was very thin, and that was natural. And
My
it's like,
girlfriend's youngest son is like this.
and yeah, and
He's
it's
frail.
actually been a problem for her to gain weight. And it's interesting because a lot of people would understand or not understand why she couldn't gain weight or why she wasn't a quote unquote healthy weight. I mean, she was a healthy weight for her, but
Mhm.
it was really interesting because she would eat a lot. Like we would come home, or like I would go over to her house. When I say come home, I mean I would stop at her house
Yeah.
after school sometimes, and she would go and have like one of her favorite things was to have this big old muffin because her mom would buy these
Oh,
big muffins with milk poured on top of it, and she would just eat that whole
oh,
thing, and then
yum.
like maybe an hour later she would eat another big thing, and I'm like, so it wasn't like she wasn't eating, it was just she
It
couldn't gain
just her
weight.
metabolism and stuff like that just burns through it.
I was
And
so jealous.
yeah, see, when people see people, they're like, "Oh my god, I would kill for." And honestly, life is a nightmare for them because nothing works for them. You know, where they go into, they have to go into a size negative
Yeah,
store
she
in
wore
order
like a
to find
size
things.
0 or something like that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's just as bad for them as it is for people that are overweight and stuff. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we live in such a society where we are so quick to judge based on the most superficial things. I mean, we will we will hate each other
Hmm.
over things that we can't control, but the things that we should really judge people on and maybe not like each other for, like actions, you know,
Yes.
uh, we just okay, whatever. But hey, if you're Democratic or you're Republican, I hate you because you're either one of those type of things, or you're a certain color, or you're thin, or you're this. And it's like,
I mean, it's interesting what people do to judge others. I was actually in the overweight category in high school, and when we hung out together, it was very
polar opposites.
interesting, very opposites, not opposites. What was I trying to say there? Opposites. Yeah. So this was a really fun discussion about GERD,
All
and
sorts of stuff.
I
Yeah.
know I ended up talking a lot about myself, but it's the experience that we have. So this was something that was, it's interesting because body dysmorphia was very triggering talking about it for me. This is just fun. Like I'm not triggered at all by this, or
Oh,
I
good,
don't.
good. You seem
It's
much
really an
more relaxed with
interesting.
this.
Yeah, no, the but BPD or BBD. I think it's what's
I
called a
always thought that
BDD.
meant bipolar disorder.
No, no, I'm saying body dysmorphia
No,
disorder.
no,
It's
but when I saw
BDD.
that
I'm
on people's
sorry,
descriptions,
BDD.
like they'll say that, and I'm like, I saw the initials, and I'm like, bipolar disorder, because I didn't
Yeah.
realize bipolar was broken down. Oh, bipolar is just bipolar.
By the way, just I know I'm saying this at the end. We are not doctors. We're
No,
just talking about our experiences and helping other people to get more aware of it, but we are not medical professionals. You should always
no,
go to a medical professional
yes.
to get diagnosed. So don't automatically assume that just because you have some of these symptoms that you may have it. But going back to what you were just saying, yeah, BD. They say it's BD is bipolar disorder now,
Yes.
and BPD is borderline personality disorder, whereas it used to be BPD was bipolar disorder because it was
Yeah.
bipolar disorder, but now it's just one because now you have borderline personality disorder. They're learning so much about the different B cluster B personality disorders, so
Gotcha.
it's really fascinating.
It is.
Anyways, I think that's all we have for now for you guys. Did you have a fun time though, John?
Oh, I sure did. Did you? You seem to.
I did. I did have a great time. As I said,
It's
this
fun
was
hanging
not
out with you guys.
even though I had this, it was not I had to deal with this kind of thing. It wasn't triggering for me as like BDD was. So, yeah, it was great. Robin, did you have a good time?
Awesome.
That's what I want to hear. All right, everyone. I hope you all had a good time in the audience there too. As I
Definitely.
said, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Describe your experiences
There you
down
go.
below in the chat. There we go. And subscribe if you aren't already. And go and check out all of our other shows on Kyber Cave.
There you go.
John, where can we find you?
Me?
Otherwise, besides here.
Inside my cave here. Let's see.
Yes.
Well, usually when I do broadcast, I broadcast a lot on Twitch. Over there, of course, under the AbiliTV name, and or if I'm doing a live show here, it'll be under AbiliTV as well. So on YouTube or Twitch.
Yep. I don't know how to get it so you're big on the screen.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
okay.
I'm
That's
still
okay.
learning. I'm
I
still
see enough
learning,
red face
guys.
there. That's
Don't
fine.
hate me.
I don't need to ruin other people's monitors. You know.
Commenting. Oh, Thomas, thank you. I hope you had a good time, Thomas. He's commenting for the algorithm.
Oh, there you go.
I
There you go. The
appreciate it
algorithm.
because it does help us get into the algorithm. The
Yes.
more you
Yes.
comment,
You gotta
and
placate the algorithm here. Good
oh god,
algorithm.
the algorithm.
Good
I mean,
algorithm.
this one isn't one of our monetized shows, but it's always good so you can go and see all of our other shows that are coming on. And we have our lovely interpreter Robin over here, who's just who's doing his thing.
Yep. Yep.
And I hope.
No,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was just nothing.
I think Robin, you're mostly here, right? This is where we can mostly find you. Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right, and of course I'm the captain. I'm here with Kyber Cave all the time. Even
Sorry. Just
no,
just
it's
have
okay.
to. That's a piece of glass underneath the protector.
It's really cool.
Isn't that wicked? That is
I
just
really want to
wicked.
get one of those. They look
Yeah,
really cool.
I accidentally dropped my old Note 9 and it landed right on the footrest of my wheelchair and it cracked the corner, the upper, like the first top third of the screen right on the edge. Not only did it break the glass, but it destroyed the LCD LED screen underneath. So we're now just as all it's toast. It's like holy cow, and I'm like, forget it. I looked at how much it would cost to get that repaired, about $600. I'm like,
might as well just get a new phone.
I'm like,
for
you know
that.
what? I'm just gonna go ahead and get the one that I've been eyeballing, and just to show you. Let's see here if we can bring you guys up on here. Let's scroll over here. This thing is just amazing. Let's see here. We'll go into my
That's
channel.
how you interrupt me as I was trying to get us out of here.
No. We're gonna, it's ADHD here. And let's go on over here. There we are. There we are. Look at that gorgeous picture.
Ah, it's great. That is so beautiful. It's about 30 seconds
5G
behind.
speeds are freaking crazy.
Yes, they are. But we are about 30 seconds behind.
Yes.
Anyways, so back to what I was saying. You can find John here. I think are you going back to doing Beat Saber?
Yes, I'll be doing Beat Down again soon.
Beat Down.
I have to go see another doctor, a physiatrist. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
That is a multi-discipline doctor and different things. But I finally found a physiatrist thanks to Jonathan Mize, who's a Paralympian, who's my ATP person fitting me with a wheelchair. He looked and he found one locally that specializes in ALS patients and patients in wheelchairs that are permanently in wheelchairs. So finally, I found a doctor that might be able to help me because I'm not cut and dry. Since I'm not paralyzed or partial, then why do you need a wheelchair full time? Well, because if I try to stand up and walk, the pain makes it so dangerous for me that I'll just spaz, fall, and regardless of I'm using crutches, a walker, anything that I use that's trying to keep me upright. So it's far safer for me to be sitting down if I spaz. But over the years that I've been sitting for 15 years full time, I found the right sitting position to where it relieves the spasms for most of the day. So now they only happen when I go to sleep. Sometimes throw myself off the bed onto the floor. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have guards that will help you?
Oh no. I don't know. If I had those, I would literally destroy myself. So it's
Oh,
a
okay.
lot safer for me just to simply end up on the floor.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
does not sound like fun.
Oh no, it's not.
Anyway, so let's get back
Right.
to these outros so we can get going because I gotta go. But yeah, so you can find me on Kyber Cave. I also have my music on Spotify. I'm trying to get back into doing more projects. I do have more projects. As I said, I've got a tournament at the end of the month happening. So yeah, you could catch me on Kyber Cave After Dark. You could catch John on Beatdown soon, and also right here on Hearts of Kyber. Thank you so much, everyone who watched and commented. Thomas, you're amazing. Dampy, you're amazing. Thank you so much. And we are going to get going here. So see ya.
See you.
If I could just get this, if I could get the right thing. Hold on one second. There we go. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.